Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to the next installment of Life in the Amazon, hosted by me, monster fish keeper and South American fish keeper, Aqua Alex Cardinale. Welcome to episode 7 of Life in the Amazon. I hope you guys and gals are having a great day and are looking forward to this awesome episode of Life in the Amazon. So, on the last episode of Life in the Amazon, I talked about popular monster aquarium species that come from South America. Last week, I talked about red-bellied pacu, red-tailed catfish, tiger shovelnose, and silver arowanas. If you missed my last episode of Life in the Amazon, no worries. Just go to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale, and go under my Life in the Amazon or Aqua Alex Live playlist to watch last last episode of Life in the Amazon. But today I'm going to be talking about the unique monster aquarium fish that live in South America. I have 8 interesting species of fish that I am going to be talking about. Some of these particular species of fish do not belong in the aquarium hobby, but they are unique and I want to talk about them tonight. So before I get started, I want to thank everybody for watching this video, whether you're tuned in live or you're catching the replay of today's video. I appreciate your view and welcome to this amazing episode. So, as always, if you're watching and you have a particular favorite oddball fish or favorite monster fish that comes from South America, let me know what that fish is in the comments. So, what are some of your favorite oddball fish that come from South America? Let me know in the comments, and I will be happy to respond to your favorite oddball fish that come from South America. With that being said, let's go ahead and get this show started. The first unique monster fish that comes from South America is a species of goby. Yes, believe it or not, there is a species of goby that gets big, and it is a true freshwater goby. The name of this goby is the jade sleeper goby. Now, I've been in the aquarium hobby since I was 12 years old, and I've kept numerous jade gobies, and they are a very interesting fish. They love to eat, and they love eating market shrimp and earthworms and tilapia. And they have a unique personality to them. They will perch on rocks and driftwood. The jade sleeper goby kind of reminds me of a saltwater flame hawk. So I would consider the jade sleeper goby to be a freshwater variant of a hawkfish, which, in my personal opinion, is pretty awesome, if you ask me. Now, the jade sleeper goby grows to be about 30 inches in length, so just above 2 feet. Imagine a goby getting above 2 feet. That's the jade sleeper goby, and they're rumored to reach that size in the wild. However, in the home aquarium, you can expect your jade goby to grow anywhere from 12 to 16 inches, sometimes up to 2 feet. It really depends on the tank size that they're in, what their diet is, and how their water is. However, jade gobies are a really hardy fish, and they're a pretty interesting fish. I really admire the jade goby. I like that They have a lot of coloration, and I like the fact that not all freshwater gobies are tiny little dwarf nanofish. There are a couple of freshwater gobies that come from South America that are monsters, like the jade goby, and the other monster goby that comes from South America is the water cow or the marbled goby, which is a little bit different. And there's some other Asian gobies that are monsters as well. Now, I'm going to be honest, it took me a while to realize that the jade goby is actually from South America and North America. I thought they were from Asia, like the marbled Asian goby, but they're not. They're from South America, which is pretty cool. You'll find them in Brazil, Colombia, Peru, etc. And you'll also find them in Florida. If I went fishing and I brought a cast net, chances are I could catch some juvenile jade gobies, which is pretty awesome because the jade goby is a beautiful fish nonetheless, and it is a very cool fish. So let's see some pictures of the jade goby right now, shall we? So here is a picture of a jade goby. This jade goby was actually for sale on predatoryfins.com, and this was a jade goby that my friend Rodrigo was selling a number of months ago. Now, jade gobies are relatively cheap in the aquarium hobby. They're not going to cost you an arm and a leg. For a juvenile jade goby, about 2 to 3 inches, you could buy a juvenile jade goby for about $15, whereas an adult goby above 5 inches could be about $25 to $50. And anything above a foot will be about $100 for a jade goby. Pretty interesting, unique monster fish, if you ask me. So this is a picture of an adult jade goby, and it shows you that jade gobies get a lot of awesome color as they mature. Look at that yellow belly on the jade goby and that orange coloration. Pretty awesome looking fish. Now they've got the yellow belly, the orange coloration, a gray body, and even some green color in there. The jade goby, pretty cool South American monster fish that is very unique, and not a lot of people realize that this fish actually comes from South America, but it is absolutely 100% true. The jade goby's natural habitat is South America and North America, and they live in freshwater and brackish water as well. All right, moving along to our second species for today's episode. And this is a species that I've never kept before, and I really want to keep this species someday. It's another species of predatory cherisin that is really similar to Payara and Dorado and African tigerfish, but it is exclusive to South America, and that is the red-tailed barracuda. Now, there are multiple species of freshwater barracuda that live in South America. There's the yellowtail barracuda, which gets massive. There's a couple variants of the red-tailed barracuda, one that gets to be about a foot to 14 inches, and a couple of dwarf red-tail species that max out at about 8 inches. I don't know the scientific names for the dwarf, but the red-tailed barracuda that I'm talking about, which I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes, are the ones that I want when my large aquarium comes in, and I'll be able to add them to my Wolffish Community Aquarium. Now, the red-tailed barracudas and the yellow-tailed barracudas that come from South America are not true barracuda. They're not related to the saltwater barracudas. They're a part of the tetra family. They are part of the cherisin family. But nonetheless, they are a very unique fish. A lot of fish keepers who have kept red-tailed barracuda have reported to me that they are very hard to get off of live foods. So that's one thing that I worry about when I get a school of these guys is how am I going to get them off of live? I'm not going to want to throw guppies in my tank when I've got peacock bass and wolfish because they will instantly get hooked on the live food and they're going to reject the food that they've been eating. So that's where the issue lies. So I'll probably will have to put the red-tailed barracuda in my 75 gallon for a while until they get off of a live diet. But it really depends on where you buy your fish from. Some suppliers will already have their finicky fish off of live, but those suppliers will generally rack up the price because of that, which is good though. I don't mind paying a couple more dollars if I don't have to go through the battle of feeding live food. The red-tailed barracuda is a schooling fish, so you're going to need to keep at least 3 or 4 of them for them to be comfortable. Otherwise, they're going to be very stressed out and they're going to bash around the aquarium, damaging their nose. The red-tailed barracuda and all South American barracuda really are very skittish fish. So you're going to need some artificial plants and some live plants in there to help them calm down. And it's safety in numbers. They feel a lot safer when they have their own sanctuary and they're in a school. So keep that in mind if you want to keep the red-tailed barracuda. So the red-tailed barracuda that I'm talking about, the scientific name is on the screen. That is the one that I want to keep. And they look just like this. Tell me that this is not a gorgeous barracuda. That is a stunning predatory fish. Look at the teeth on that red-tailed barracuda. Look at that nice black spot. I love that black humal spot. And I also love the red tail that this barracuda has. You know, it almost looks like an African tiger fish, but definitely a lot smaller and a lot more manageable in the home aquarium. So I definitely that is one of my bucket list fish that I have to get. I have to get a red-tailed barracuda group eventually. Every time I have the money to buy them, I can never find them. So hopefully, now that I've got my taxes coming in a few weeks, they'll be available. And I only want this particular species. I don't want the dwarfs. I want this particular species. So I'm going to be very picky. And if I see suppliers have them listed, I'm going to ask for photos to make sure that I'm not getting the dwarf species. Now, here's a picture of 2 red-tailed barracudas. Again, look how beautiful they are. They look just like a African tiger fish. The one up front actually has a little bit of an orange face, which is pretty awesome looking as well. So just a gorgeous, gorgeous fish, if you ask me. All right, let's move on to the next species that I'm going to talk about on tonight's episode. And it's our first of 3 catfish that I'm going to talk about. And this one I've kept many times over the years. And that is the Lima shovelnose catfish, Sorabim lima. This catfish is also known as the hockey stick catfish or the common shovel nose catfish. Much more manageable than the tiger shovel nose or the red tail cat times tiger shovel nose hybrid. The Lima shovel nose does not grow to be 3 or 4 feet, so it is more manageable for aquariums like 125, 180s, 210s, etc. The Lima shovel nose will grow to be about 14 to 18 inches, so it's still a manageable sized fish. However, it could be kept in a 6 foot aquarium, and you could actually keep a group of these. The Lima shovelnose loves to school, and it's a very interesting catfish to say the least. Now, Lima shovelnose, they will eat just about anything, including small fish. So don't keep them with fish that will fit in their mouth. They'll eat market shrimp, tilapia, earthworms, and even prepared foods like pellets. I had a Lima shovelnose that loved Hikari Massivar Delight, which was a treat for me because I saved a lot of money and I was able to feed him a Macari Massivar Delight. I have never ever lost a single Lima Chevanos. This has to be one of the hardiest catfish to keep. They're very hardy, very easy to keep, and if a beginner has a 6 foot aquarium, then they could keep a Lima Chevanos catfish. I have a Lima Chevanos currently, but unfortunately he hangs out in driftwood, so I was not able to get photos or video of him for today's episode. However, I'm going to do a species care guide really soon on the Lima Chevanos, and you're going to see pictures and a video of my Lima Chevanos that I have now, and of some future Lima, or of some past Lima Chevanos that I've kept over the years. So now I'm going to show you some images of the Lima Chevanos catfish so that you can see what they actually look like. So here is a sub-adult Lima Chevanos. This one looks to be about 11 to 12 inches, judging by the photo. And as Lima Chevanoses get older, they look awesome. They got that nice brown stripe on the black body and the white underbelly, which is phenomenal in my opinion. And they look great in a white sand substrate. Very beautiful fish. Here is a small shoal of two juvenile Lima Chevanos. These ones look to be about 6 to 7 inches, and they have that awesome spotting pattern on them that some Lima Chevanos get as they mature, which is really, really cool. So, very awesome looking catfish, if you ask me. All right. So right now, the next two species of fish that I'm going to talk about are both catfish, and they're both from the Brachyplasma family, which also includes the Tigrinus and Durant's catfish. The Tigrinus and Durant's cats are some of my personal favorite catfish that I have yet to keep. But these next two species of catfish, I feel, do not belong in the aquarium hobby, and I will explain why. Both of these catfish have been studied by Jeremy Wade, who we all know is one of the best marine biologists out there in the world. He studies freshwater monsters. And the Dorado catfish and the Paraíba catfish were both featured on his hit television shows, River Monsters, and I believe it was Mighty Waters or something like that. So the first catfish we're going to talk about is the Dorado catfish. Now, this catfish grows huge. I'm talking 4 to 4.5 feet. It is a migratory catfish, which means it likes to migrate downstream in the Amazon River. And on the show that Jeremy Wade did when he talked about the Dorado catfish, is that the human population in South America is really impacting the Dorado catfish population. The building of natural dams and man made dams are causing these fish to suffer ill fate and early death because they cannot migrate when there's a man made dam being built. However, later in the episode, some of the Dorado catfish were able to migrate to another part of South America, but there is proof that a significant number of Dorado catfish don't. So that's something we need to be really aware of. We need to tell locals in South America to be aware of the Dorado catfish population and be mindful that building these man made dams is possibly hurting the population of this once gorgeous catfish. I never want to see this gorgeous catfish go extinct. It's also a popular food fish in South America, and now for the last 10 or so years, it is entering the aquarium hobby. Juveniles of this species are entering the aquarium hobby, but the Dorado catfish captivity is extremely skittish and extremely fragile. You have to have the perfect water parameters. So that means you have to have close to zero ammonia. You have to have a lot of flow in your aquarium. So you're going to have a wave maker. Your tank is going to have to be really, really dimly lit. So it can't be in a room where there's a lot of sunshine or a lot of light or human traffic, because the Dorado is going to spaz, bang its head in the glass, and then die. I've had a friend who kept a couple of Dorado catfish, and he was telling me, Alex, don't ever get one. They're very finicky, they're very skittish, and really it's not worth the $100 or $200 that they cost. Besides, if you're able to raise one into adulthood, what are you going to do with a catfish that gets 4 feet and is super skittish? I think one of the aspects of why they're so skittish is that they're actually a migratory catfish, as I mentioned earlier. They're looking to migrate their way through bigger rivers and keep moving and keep swimming. In an aquarium, they cannot keep moving and keep swimming, and they're going to freak out and get nervous over that. So that is why, in my personal opinion, the Dorado catfish should not be sold for aquarium hobbyists and does not belong in the aquarium hobby unless you have a pond that is several thousand gallons or an aquarium that is several thousand gallons. With that being said, let's take a look at how beautiful the Dorado catfish is. It is a really awesome looking fish, and I love the color of the Dorado catfish. I'll be the first person to tell you this is one of the most unique looking catfish available on the freshwater market. So look at the pure silver coloration of the Dorado catfish. You're not going to find a catfish from any other country that has this coloration. Pure silver color. That looks like a shark, ladies and gentlemen. The Dorado catfish looks like a freshwater shark, except it's a catfish. That is how beautiful this fish looks. Here is a specimen that was raised in the aquarium hobby, and this one looks actually decent. This one looks like a magnificent specimen. So who's ever raised this fish knows about tropical fish, and he knows how to raise monster catfish. So that is the Dorado catfish. All right. So the next catfish we're going to talk about is another Brachyplasma. And this one is well known thanks to river monsters. And that is the Paraiba catfish. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the catfish that was growing at Jeremy Wade on River Monsters. Just do a YouTube search of brawling catfish river monsters and you'll find the video here on YouTube. The Paraiba catfish is perhaps the largest catfish in South America. It is not known as the man-eating catfish for no reason. The Paraiba cat can grow to be about 6 feet in length. I'm not exaggerating. Most of the time, you'll find them 4 feet, but sometimes they can get to 6 feet under the right conditions. And they eat large prey. Sometimes the Paraiba cat, the adults can eat smaller snakes, smaller anacondas, and black caiman, and they'll attack other large fish species as well. Now, the Paraiba catfish goes without saying that it does not belong in the aquarium hobby. So do not try keeping the Paraiba catfish unless you've got a several thousand gallon pond or a several thousand gallon aquarium. That's all I'm going to say about the Paraiba catfish. Let's see some images of the Paraiba catfish, shall we? So here is an image of a wild caught Paraiba catfish. This one was caught somewhere in South America. And look at the size of that catfish. It needs at least 3 people to hold that Paraiba catfish. Now, this Paraiba catfish was caught by the legendary Jeremy Wade. And look how big this Paraiba catfish is. This one also looks like a shark. And a lot of the brachyplasma catfish look like sharks. But the Paraiba is definitely a monster catfish. All right. So let's see, we've got three more species of fish that we're going to talk about for today's episode that are unique monster fish. Now, the next species of fish that I'm going to talk about, I've talked about a lot in recent memory. I've talked about them at least for the last couple of months, and that is the wolffish. I am a huge fan of wolffish. Right now, I have a gold wolffish and a black wolffish. And I do plan on getting a rainbow wolffish when I can find one that is the right size. I gave my two juvenile red wolves to my dad, but I want to find one at least 4 inches that could go with my black wolf, my gold wolf, and we'll see how the rainbow wolf does. Now, wolffish are very predatory in nature, and they will eat insects, they will eat crustaceans, and they'll eat any fish that will fit in their mouth. There are many different species of wolffish. There is the Hippolyte species, which includes the black wolffish, which is my personal favorite wolffish. I love the Hippolyte curpura. Hippolyte curpura. For some reason, I can't pronounce the scientific name today. I love the black wolffish, which is Hippolyte curupira. There we go. And then there's the Hippolyte amara and the common wolffish. Those are the different Hippolyte species. Then there's the gold wolffish, and then there's the rainbow wolffish. I've done species care guides on the black wolffish, and I've done species care guides on the gold wolffish. Just go to my YouTube playlist, the legendary Alex Cardinale, and go to my Aqua Alex Live playlist, and you can see the species care guide that I have on the black wolf and the gold wolf. And when I have experience in keeping a rainbow wolf, there will be a care guide on the rainbow wolffish. So since I've already bored you with talk on wolffish so many times over the last few months, I'm just going to show you some images of wolffish. The first image is of my black wolffish. This is my personal wolffish, so that means that this is my personal photo. Look how beautiful the black wolffish is. An absolute stunner of a fish, in my personal opinion. And for those wondering what kind of catfish that is next to him, that is a 4-line pictus. And this guy is the largest growing South American wolffish known to man, and that is the Amara wolffish. That is the wolffish that was featured on River Monsters and was caught and captured by Jeremy Wade. This is the true monster wolffish that grows over 4 feet, and a lot of monster fish keepers try to get for their home aquarium, but in reality, they should not be keeping. All right, so we're going to move on now to the next species that I am going to talk about, and that is the freshwater stingray. Yes, yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a species of stingray that live in freshwater, and they come from South America and the Amazon River. The species of stingrays that live in South America include the Matoro stingrays. They include the Leopoldi stingrays, teacup stingrays, black diamond stingrays, which I think I just mentioned. So there's a plethora of different South American freshwater stingrays that live in South America. These fish are very dangerous, and oftentimes The locals that live in South America do not fear piranhas. They do not fear wolffish. They do not fear black caiman. What they fear is the stingray, because if they accidentally step on a stingray, they're going to get injected with venom. And the freshwater stingray's venom is more potent than the saltwater stingray. That's right, folks. The freshwater stingray's venom is more dangerous than saltwater. A freshwater stingray's venom can kill if not treated properly. So, definitely, there's reason to be fearful of this fish. However, we're not traveling to South America and we're not entering the Amazon River barefoot. So, we don't have to worry about being stung by a freshwater stingray. Now, the South American stingray is very popular in the aquarium hobby. A lot of aquarium hobbyists love keeping freshwater stingrays. I've kept Matoro stingrays in the past, and I've got to tell you, Matoros are very personable. They get to know you, they come to the surface to eat, and I love them. It's been a while since I've had stingrays, though, and I probably won't have the opportunity to ever keep them again. But let me tell you, when I did have my Matoro stingrays, it was an absolute treat, because my two Matoro stingrays, which were a male and female pair, they got used to me hand feeding them, and they would come up and eat market shrimp right out of my hand, which was absolutely amazing. And that was something that I'll always cherish. Unfortunately, I had to rehome my stingrays because they got too large for the tank that they were in when I kept them. But if you want to keep freshwater stingrays, you definitely need a massive, massive aquarium, at least in the 220-gallon range. And I'm going to do an episode, hopefully with a special guest, talking about stingrays, because stingrays are a fish that has my attention, and I have a lot of love for freshwater stingrays, especially the ones that come from South America. So the photos of the stingrays that I'm about to show you are of my personal stingrays. These are my male and female stingrays that I had, and they are wild-caught Peruvian stingrays. Let's check them out, folks. So this is a stingray that was getting ready to be hand-fed, and I just so happened to have a camera on hand, and I snapped a picture of him. It looks like this stingray is smiling in this picture. This is a Matoro stingray that comes from South America. Very beautiful fish. This is one of those male stingrays that I was talking about that I had. I believe this is the male, or it could be the female, but it is one of my two stingrays that I had. I bought them at about 5-inch disc size, and I grew them to about a foot before I rehomed them to somebody that had a much larger aquarium than I did, and they went to a great home. The Matoro stingrays are the best, in my opinion, because they're the most hardiest of all stingrays. And this is another picture of one of the stingrays that I had. This is another Matoro, and behind the Matoro is a datnoid that looks to be a thin bar datnoid that comes from Thailand. And then there's a Severum that also is from South America. And there's a pair of black tip mouse catfish that are directly behind the Matoro cat. Those catfish are called Hacer oriensis, and they stay small, about 8 inches max. But the Matoro stingrays, very gorgeous fish, a very personable fish. Like I said earlier, they're a fish that's going to recognize you as their owner and as their food source. And every time you have food, they're going to come to the top of the aquarium and they're going to eat the food from your hand, which is cool. Just be very careful when doing water changes to not get stung by their stinger. All right, the last fish for today's episode is the largest fish in South America, and one that is unique because of its size, and it is definitely a monster. And it definitely does not belong in the aquarium hobby, and that is the arapaima. The arapaima can grow, would be about 6 feet or more. Generally speaking, more. There are records out there that show that this fish can reach 8 feet in length. Definitely a monster fish. It grows bigger than most people. It grows bigger than any aquarium known to man. It grows bigger than most pools. So really, nobody should be keeping the arapaima. I don't care how big of a pool you have, the arapaima belongs in the wild. So I don't understand why tropical fish stores are bringing in arapaima from South America. I don't understand why collectors are importing arapaima. Nobody upon nobody has the space for arapaima unless you're farming these fish for food. They have massive ponds set aside for arapaima. A normal aquarium hobbyist doesn't. So that is just my personal opinion. And again, I'm not bashing anybody that has arapaima, but the fact of the matter is, this fish, just like the Dorado catfish and the Paraiba catfish that I talked about earlier, belongs in South America and it belongs in the Amazon River only. We can have respect, we can admire the arapaima, but let's do it by watching videos on YouTube of this fish in nature, or if there's a large aquarium like the New England Aquarium or the aquarium in Chicago that has a massive pond and they've got an arapaima, we can view their majesty in the pond. So I'm not going to talk about caring for the arapaima in the home aquarium simply because this fish does not belong in the home aquarium just because of its size. But I am going to show you a couple of pictures of how gorgeous the arapaima is. So here is a picture of an arapaima. And what I love about the arapaima is that red coloration on the scales. Very, very pretty, in my personal opinion. And those scales give it like a prehistoric look. And the arapaima is in the family of arowanas. It's a bony tongue fish, which means that its tongue has a very sharp and deadly bone that could really injure people. And because the arapaima can get 6 to 8 feet with their power behind them and all that weight, if a fisherman was trying to collect one alone and it was splashing around, its weight could probably kill a fisherman or severely injure a important organ in that human. So I would not even fish these guys in the wild unless you've got a group of people with you. Again, this is another picture of arapaima. Really incredible monster fish that is best left alone and best left in the wild. All right, and that is this week's episode of Life in the Amazon. I hope you enjoyed the seventh installment of Life in the Amazon, and I hope you learned a lot about the unique monster aquarium fish that lived in South America. So to recap, I talked about the jade sleeper goby, I talked about the red-tailed barracuda, the lima shovelnose, the Dorado catfish, the Paraiba catfish, the wolffish, the Matoro stingrays and freshwater stingrays, and arapaima. So of all the fish that I mentioned today, I've kept the Matoro stingrays, the wolffish, the lima shovelnose, and the jade sleeper gobies. I have yet to keep the red-tailed barracuda. I probably will never be able to keep stingrays again. I'll absolutely never get Dorado or Paraiba catfish or arapaima. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode and are ready for the next edition of Life in the Amazon. So you, my loyal viewers and my subscribers, and you, the tropical fish hobbyist, I need your help. What topics should I cover for the fish hobby in South America? What should my next topic of Life in the Amazon be? Leave your suggestions in the comments. So, what should my next episode after next week's episode of Life in the Amazon be? Whatever you guys suggest, that will be the topic. All right. So, next week on our Life in the Amazon episode, I'm going to talk about rare aquarium fish that live in South America and the Amazon River. These will include jaguar catfish. The jaguar driftwood cats are gorgeous. The Brachyplasma gyrens catfish and the Tigrinus catfish, which are very manageable for the home aquarium. Orange pike cichlids or Xingu pike cichlids, fancy plecos like the L600, which is a dream pleco of mine, Altum angelfish, and more. So the next installment of Life in the Amazon will be on rare aquarium fish that live in South America. And after that, you will decide the next topic for Life in the Amazon. All right, so if you have not ever gotten a South American fish for your aquarium, get one because South American fish are the best. Before I end today's video, I'd like to remind everybody to tune into this Saturday's episode of Aqua Alex Live. It's going to be the debut of Ask Aqua Alex Live, the February 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A. I'll be answering all your questions and I'll be debuting some new segments. And one of the topics is going to be about that new Lacey bill that is going around, and I'm going to share my thoughts on that. So make sure you tune into my Fish Keepers Q&A this Saturday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be a fun video for sure, for shizzle, as they say. All right, with that being said, I want to thank you for tuning into this episode of Life in the Amazon here on Aqua Alex Live on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. If you enjoyed today's video, please give me a huge like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are a new viewer. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. I've got awesome videos coming up, including my 8-year YouTube anniversary in just 2 weeks. With that being said, feed your fish high-quality fish food, get some South American fish, and enjoy the aquarium hobby. Peace out, my brothers. Hey everyone, it's South American fish keeper and monster fish hobbyist Aqua Alex Cardinale, inviting all the fish keepers to be a part of the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live that is taking place Saturday, February 19th, 2022 at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. That's right, the February 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A is going to be supersized. New segments are going to make their debut on the February edition of Fish Keepers Q&A and a lot more. I look forward to hosting the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live on Saturday, February 19th. I look forward to answering any of your tropical fish keeping questions, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. Email your tropical fish keeping questions to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com. You may also film a video asking your questions. You can ask me any freshwater or saltwater aquarium hobby questions that come to mind. Test my fish keeping knowledge. I really want to answer your questions. So I double dog dare you to ask me aquarium questions and tropical fish questions. On the February 2022 Fish Keepers Q&A, I've got some wonderful topics. I'm going to talk about the best online fish stores to support in 2022. I'm going to talk about some cool Asian oddball fish that I want to keep. For example, the datnoid above my head and the Asian leaf fish. And I'm also going to talk about the best dither fish in freshwater aquariums that can be kept with aggressive cichlids and other aggressive predatory fish. I'm going to continue to go over the Tangled Up in Cichlids stock list, but I'm going to be adding two more online fish stores. I'm going to go over the Tangled Up in Cichlid stock list, as well as aquatic rarities and exoticfishshop.net. So if you're looking for exotic South and Central American cichlids, oddballs, and rare fish, check out Tangled Up in Cichlids, aquatic rarities, and exoticfishshop.net. And now the most exciting part of the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live. I am debuting new segments on my monthly Fish Keepers Q&A. The first segment I am debuting is called Aqua Alex Reacts. And I, Aqua Alex, will react to various aquarium related social media posts, including Craigslist ads and Facebook group posts. Which aquarium hobbyist is asking the most ridiculous price for a used aquarium? Which aquarium hobbyist is making a fool of himself on social media? Well, we'll find out on the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live on February 19th. Another new segment that is going to make its debut on the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live is the Viewer Aquarium Show Off. This is your opportunity to showcase your freshwater or saltwater or even aquatic turtle or axolotl aquariums. All you got to do to show off your aquariums is submit videos or photos of your aquarium to Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19 at gmail.com. I want to spotlight your beautiful fish and your beautiful aquarium every month, and it begins in February. So send your videos and photos of your aquarium right now. And the last new segment that's making its debut on the supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live is Aquarium Facts. I will give out 3 to 4 aquarium facts every month. So don't miss a minute of the action. Supersized Ask Aqua Alex Live airs Saturday, February 19th, 2022 at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific on the legendary Alex Cardinale YouTube channel. So fish keepers, be there or be square and get those fish keeping questions in now, as well as those videos of your aquarium and photos of your aquarium fish as well. Yeehaw! Legendary Alex Cardinale here, inviting you to be a part of the legendary Alex Cardinale 8-year YouTube anniversary live in just 2 weeks on Sunday, March 6th, 2022 at a special start time of 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's right. The 8-year YouTube anniversary has a new special start time. Instead of 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, it is now going to air live Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. Two of my lucky subscribers are going to win a $80 Texas Roadhouse gift card. 8 of my lucky subscribers will be entered into the drawing, with 2 of those 8 being the lucky ones to win an $80 Texas Roadhouse gift card. There's going to be a legend each year, and this year there's going to be a legendary appearance by the hardcore legend and WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley. Which face of Foley will we see? Or will we see all 3 faces of Foley? Bang, bang! There are 3 confirmed special guests. The first special guest is Bob from Aquatic Rarities, aka Malone's Monsters. It will be filmed from his fish store in Boca Raton, Florida. The second confirmed guest is Josh Rodriguez, the owner of Blue View Aquatics, a aquatic company from Western Massachusetts. Josh and I have been friends for many years, and he was instrumental on my aquarium podcast, Aquatic Wetline, and I enjoy supporting his business. And I look forward to having him on my YouTube channel for the very first time on my 8-year YouTube anniversary. The third confirmed guest is a pro wrestling museum owner and WWE fan, Mike Parker. What wrestling topics are we going to talk about? And there are going to be at least 2 surprise special guests. I hope you guys like surprises, because these are going to be legendary surprise special guests live in just 2 weeks on the 8-year YouTube anniversary right here on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. There is going to be a Aqua Alex Cardinale appearance, and Aqua Alex is going to talk about fish species that I've kept over the last 8 years and other fishy surprises. Chef Alex Cardinale is going to make an appearance. I'm going to show you how to make my prime rib, my Reese's peanut butter cake, and my Twix cheesecake recipe. Yum. WWE fanboy Alex Cardinale will make an appearance to discuss his dream WrestleMania 38 card. Detective Alex Cardinale is going to make an appearance. What crimes will be discussed, and possibly what crimes will be committed on the 8-year YouTube anniversary? Just kidding. I am a detective. I cannot commit crime. What surprises will there be on the legendary Alex Cardinale 8-year YouTube anniversary? The biggest party of the year, the biggest live stream of the year. It is live Sunday, March 6, 2022 at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, exclusively on my YouTube channel, the legendary Alex Cardinale. It's only going to air on my YouTube channel, so make sure to subscribe right now to be a part of my 8-year YouTube anniversary, Sunday, March 6, 2022, in 2 weeks at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.